This is March to March, presented by Principal Financial Group. In the Mountain West, our nightcap, San Diego State, Fresno State, Aztecs at 8-3, and the Bulldogs at 6-6. Up to speed in the Mountain West, here we go. Boise State won a good one against Utah State. Wyoming survived Air Force. Colorado State, you just saw them go down to UNLV, and now it's San Diego State's turn to take center stage. Hi everybody, I'm Rich Waltz along with former UCF Knight Mike O'Donnell. This is dessert, right, for our triple header in the Mountain West. And we're 2 weeks away from the tournament, which means every game is really important, especially for San Diego State tonight.
And these two teams, great defensive teams. It's kind of like when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. It's going to be awesome tonight.
Now look, we like to sell sexy here, but it's defense tonight that is selling, and selling big time, because the Aztecs and the Bulldogs are both good, and they're both mirror images of each other.
And if you look up the national metrics in terms of defensive efficiency, both these teams are at the top in the country. San Diego State has the third best scoring defense in the nation. They're tough, they're physical, they're disciplined. It's a system of defensive cohesion that's impossible to prepare for. Fresno State, they have a similar style of play on the defensive end, but they lead the Mountain West in rebounding defense because they make you take tough, contested mid-range jumpers, and they're off in running and transition. This is going to be a physical, gritty matchup tonight.
Great finish to a great day and night of college basketball. Aztecs have won 4 straight. Bulldogs are home. Let's do this. Save Mart Center in Fresno, San Diego State, Fresno State, ready to go. Okay, we told you about defense, but we have 2 of the best scorers on the West Coast in this one, and that's Orlando Robinson and Matt Bradley.
And I think Orlando Robinson deserves All-American type attention. He's a future pro and one of the best players in college basketball you don't know enough about. Matt Bradley for San Diego State, the Cal transfer, can fill it up. Dangerous, could go for 25 anytime he steps onto the court.
And as you've seen here on CBS Sports Network, the Mountain West is brutally tight in terms of competition. These games swing on smallest of things, and watching Colorado State go down to UNLV, it's got to put a shudder into a lot of coaches who say, hey, the tournament's on UNLV's home floor. They're capable of beating anybody.
Don't you dare call the Mountain West a mid-major conference. They've got 6 teams in the top 70 of the net. This conference is absolutely loaded with talent.
Now, Orlando Robinson is averaging 18 a game, but his last game, Mike, he was off. Probably his worst game of the season. He was 3 of 14, 7 points, and Justin Hudson felt maybe he was just trying to do too much.
Well, he also needs the guards. He needs the backcourt. Holland and Hill, they have to find him when he's open. There can't be a time where Robinson is in one-on-one scenario and he doesn't get the basketball.
Justin Hudson, of course, a longtime assistant at San Diego State. In fact, he was in charge of the defense when he was there. So it would figure when he got to Fresno State, he's implemented that defense, and it's almost the exact same system. Brian Dutcher confirmed that to us at the shoot-around today. Brian Dutcher and the Aztecs have the road right out in front of them, including this game. 6 games left in the Mountain West Conference, and 3 quad 1 win opportunities, including this one.
This is a team that's looking to build their at-large resume. Jerry Palm has them in right now as an at-large bid. They got 2 more quad 1 opportunities after this game, Boise and Wyoming.
All right, I usually ask this, but I know the answer. What's the pace of this game going to be like?
Slow, but physical, aggressive, and you're going to see a lot of ball movement. You're going to see some physical play inside of 12 feet. Should be a tight game, should be a fun game.
Keyshawn Johnson spins into a double team and throws it out of bounds. Advantage Fresno State. Their defense forces a turnover.
It's a little bit San Diego State, right? Trying to figure themselves out on the offensive end. They've been playing well the last 2 games. You know the defense is going to be there. Offense needs to be more locked in.
Now, Fresno State has a few more weapons than San Diego State besides Robinson. San Diego State has depth, something that Fresno State doesn't have a lot of. Isaiah Hill's really good. This is Robinson's first touch. And he is out of bounds. San Diego State answers, forcing a turnover of their own.
And this is the battle. This is potential All-American candidate Orlando Robinson versus Nathan Mensah, who is probably the best defender in the Mountain West.
Aztecs with 4 straight wins. Nevada at San Jose State, Air Force, and Utah State. The Utah State beatdown was by 19. This is Bradley, kicks. Not a lot of three-point threats on the floor for San Diego State. Johnson's going to take one. He is now 1 of 21 this year from distance. Robinson can play inside and outside, and he has really improved as a passer. Into the lane, Campbell hard.
Oh my goodness, if Campbell would have completed that, I would have left, Rich. That was
game over.
An incredible downhill attack. My goodness.
Nathan Mensah in a long line of rim protectors for San Diego State. And he'll need to do that tonight. He leads the Mountain West in blocks per game. Officials are going to confer here. There's a couple things going. It almost seemed like the ball slipped out of Campbell's hand. And the question is, did anybody touch it before it ended up in the seats?
And I'm surprised there wasn't a foul call. It initially looked like
I'm with you on that.
Some contact there at the top, right around the rim. And you and I were talking about before the game, right? You know, what do we love about the college game? And let's take a look at this replay. Yeah, that's Rich,
a foul.
That's 100% a foul.
But it also never touched the San Diego State player.
That's correct.
And they can't go back to the monitor and say, well, you know what, that was a foul.
And you can't, that's exactly right. You can't review if a foul was called in that particular scenario.
But it really should have been.
Absolutely.
Because it separated his hand from the ball.
Yeah, this ball is most likely going to go to San Diego State, even though clearly that was a foul.
Yeah, it's times like these, I think they should give the officials the discretionary power of saying, you know what, we missed the foul call, let's give Fresno State the ball. But they can't do that.
Right. I also think we're taking a little too much time here to make a decision. This is part of the game where we want to make it fast, and I understand, Rich, I'm a certified 5th grade referee, so I have a little experience in this. But I understand that their job is tough and they're judged on you wanting to get the exact call correct, but we also need to get to a point where we don't want to spend too much time with the monitor.
You know what? It's play stands. So I think this is a wink and a nod, and Fresno State gets the ball here. And they get a nice baseline out of bounds. Leo Colomario for the first points of the night.
Just a smart pass by Isaiah Hill. Quick little dart off his look away.
So Fresno State on the board. Lamont Butler in the backcourt with Trey Pulliam. And of course, Bradley as well. Look at this matchup. Bradley against Robinson out high. Butler's 3 on the way. Mensah, a rebound. And he's fouled before he puts it up and in.
Once you take a look at this inbounds pass right at the top here, it's going to receive a screen. But even before that, his ability to wait, stop, and then go change of speed on baseline out of bounds, so important, going from slow to fast.
Bradley doubled right away. And again, Robinson's on it. Ball fake, weaves his way in. Keyshawn Johnson did a lot of damage inside against Utah State, and he scores there and evens the score at 2.
Those are the kind of buckets you're going to have to get. Against, this is either team. It's going to be physical, aggressive, on-ball defense, in-the-gap defensive help. Sometimes it's just going to be one-on-one battles tonight, Rich.
Both coaches today at shoot-arounds running their offense noted, hey, they're going to defend you just like we defend everybody. Because they both run the same stuff. And that's Mensah with a reach and a foul against Robinson. Now, Mike worked on this all afternoon, so everybody pay attention.
Yeah, sweating bullets pulling this up right here. Oh, these are O'Donnell rules for defending Orlando Robinson. No easy buckets inside of 5 feet. That means you got to meet him at the three-point line. Mix up your coverage. Sometimes double, sometimes don't, sometimes dig. And then second wave has to be ready. Coming off the bench, don't be afraid to use your fouls if you get stuck in a no-lose situation. Foul Robinson. Don't let him get going.
Tough to find him sometime. Holland kicks, and that's Robinson from 22 feet, and he's short. Bradley calling for the basketball. Mensah posting up. Brian Dutcher again said they want to pound the ball inside, much like they did with great success their last game against Utah State. And they're taking it to the cup again. This one off the mark. Holland with the rebound.
And Robinson should get credit for altering that shot. Didn't get the block, but he altered it.
Jordan Campbell feeds the post. And Robinson, Mensah, and that's 2 on Nathan Mensah. And it comes just 2.5 minutes, or rather 3.5 minutes into this ball game.
We're going to get a lot of ISO ball tonight because both teams know what's coming. And there's a lot of contact there initially, not on the contest, but before the contest, which is why the call was made on Mensah. That's what makes Orlando Robinson so tough, Rich. Previous possession, he had an open 3. As you look at this season, one of the best players in the Mountain West, really one of the best players in the country in terms of overall production. And you want him on the free throw line. He's 7th in the Mountain West in free throw percentage, shoots over 75%. So if you're an NBA scout, you said this kid can pick and pop. He's got an ISO mid-range game, back to the basket, and he shoots 75% from the free throw line. A lot to like about Orlando Robinson's game.
And he doesn't have to worry about Nathan Mensah probably for the rest of this first half. As Tahiro Diabate has checked in for San Diego State. Now Diabate, along with Aguac-Arop, both played well against Utah State. Bradley misses from 18. And it's kept alive. Fresno State with the lead and the ball just underway in Fresno. These two teams will play again in San Diego in less than 2 weeks. So they haven't seen each other, but they know what they're all about. There's no mysteries here today. Holland over Diabate, and that's going to be a foul. Just like we thought. A rock fight so far. Fresno State, San Diego State.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Principal Financial Group. Know us at principal.com. By Jeep, there's only one. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, and secure.
10 seasons they were together. Justin Hudson, Brian Dutcher. They were assistants under Steve Fisher for 9 seasons. Hudson was associate head coach for Dutcher's first year as head coach. And Hudson is from this valley, man. He was an outstanding player, a point guard at Cal State Bakersfield. It's not that far from Fresno. Prior to the game, he says, "What are you going to run?" "Well, you know what I'm going to run." "What are you going to run?" "Well, you know, I'm running the same thing you're running."
Coach Hudson, he's a West Coast guy. Before he even got the head job at Fresno, he's known as a great defensive coach and recruiter. He's got a big-time player coming in his 2022 class, Joseph Hunter, top 10 player out of California. Had offers from Arkansas, Cal, Illinois, USC, Ole Miss. I'll tell you, Coach Hudson, I mean, he knows how to scout and recruit as good as anybody in the country.
Holland misses a free throw. Fresno State is a very good free throw shooting team, 75% on the season. But tonight, a 1-for-3 start from the stripe. This is, I mean, the interesting thing to me here is not just the defensive side, but the offensive side. Because if you're San Diego State, you're essentially attacking your own defense, and you run against it in practice, and you work on it. And so Fresno State's having to do the same thing when they've got the ball.
Two schools of thought. You have to trust your best offensive players. And speaking of best offensive players, that's Matt Bradley, who just ripped a step-back J like it's easy. That's not an easy shot.
And of course, the two best players, Bradley and Orlando Robinson. Maybe the game will be decided by the supporting cast and who has the biggest night. Robinson kicks back out. Remember, Diabate's in. Mensah's out with 2 fouls. Late clock situation. Got to get it up. Campbell does. Missed it long. Holland with the rebound. Fresh clock.
Those are gifts, right? Very rarely are you going to get extra opportunities against a San Diego State team.
Robinson
nice double.
Turned into the double and muscles it up and in.
He's big, yes. He's got great length, yes, but he has great patience in the post as well, Rich.
Excellent hands, excellent feet. That's all part of the scouting report for the junior out of Las Vegas, Orlando Robinson, 7-footer. Pulliam has not been shooting threes of late. He's 1 for his last 7, and that stretches over 4 games. Johnson, he's doubled and in trouble. And a turnover.
This is Matt Bradley. We're going to get a little ISO basketball with Bradley. This is step back J, almost impossible to stop against Orlando Robinson at 6'11". Watch Robinson's patience. The double comes, shows the strength, but then how about the fundamental skills of keeping that pivot foot down and not traveling?
And one of the fun things early on in this game right away is that it's Orlando Robinson who's ending up on Matt Bradley one-on-one defensively.
You'll see that with San Diego State. They will regularly switch positions 1 through 5. And because, look at Bradley, he looks like a linebacker. He can play against the post. That's what makes the San Diego State defense so good, when they can switch, but they don't lose any strength or any tenacity when they switch.
Isaiah Hill with the ball, rapidly improving point guard for Fresno State. And this is Robinson. Hill, it's a 3, and he missed it. He's made more threes than any other Bulldog. Bradley, Adam Seiko's in, and he takes a quick 3 and misses it.
They need him to take quick threes and make quick threes. That opens up the offense when Seiko's knocking down deep range shots.
Diabate with the block, and that goes the other way.
Just when you think you have a sliver of opening, the Aztecs are there. Their closeout is incredible.
And actually,
it was 3 players.
It was Seiko that got a hand on it, and you could see a nice play by Pulliam to bounce it off of the Bulldog. Robert Viola is into the ball game for Fresno State. A rope in for San Diego State. Seiko really got him off to a good start last week. Bradley takes the 3 and missed it. Neither team shooting it well, and both teams are getting some decent looks right now. Robinson. Good return to the post. Bradley has the rebound.
Excellent wall up by a rope. Held his ground, played hard without fouling. Good contest.
Pulliam baseline drive. Seiko another 3. That's in and out. Seiko 41% from distance, 0 of 2 tonight. Robinson, they're daring him to shoot that 3. Diabate on his back. Double comes. It stays with Fresno State.
It's just nothing easy for either team right now. It's going to be physical. Watch the help on the baseline by Pulliam. If you turn, there's going to be a double every time. Orlando Robinson has to know that. If you turn or spin, the double is coming.
Anthony Holland checks out. San Diego State's gone over 3 minutes without a point. Fresno State's gone 2.5 without a bucket. Robinson, strong to the bucket.
Man, I'm not sure what you should do about that. That's just one of the top players in the country making a play better than you.
An 8-4 start for Fresno State. Josh Tomajic is in for the Aztecs. Butler around the screen. That's Tomajic. Chad Baker-Mazara as well. Tomajic. Clock's down to 3. Got to get it up into the lane. He beats the clock and gets the bucket.
He actually carried the ball twice. I am shocked that the referees didn't call a carry.
Screen from Viola, and he rolls and scores.
One of the rare times where you got somewhat of a clean look against this Aztecs defense. Good pick and roll, half-court set in action by Fresno State.
And Deion Stroud in the middle of that play as well. Waiting on that under 12 whistle. A rope. Clock down, baseline drive, turnover.
And you see the pace. Most teams would probably want to try to push it. Fresno State wants to slow it down. This is their offense. This is where they feel comfortable in half-court motion offense.
First fast break points, we may have to stop the game. And Hill got the 3, and if he gets hot, that's a good sign for Fresno State.
You said it. He's getting 12 points a game in Mountain West play. When he's knocking threes down, that's when this offense is humming.
First 3 of the ball game for either team. Again, you're still waiting on a whistle, that under 12 whistle. Butler, Seiko in the corner. Into the lane, and a whistle inside 3 seconds. Fresno State off to a quick start.
Offense starting to click. There's Robinson making an All-American play at the rim. And then when Isaiah Hill's knocking shots down, you better watch out. Bulldogs are up. You're watching March to March, presented by Principal Financial Group.
Mike, you mentioned 6 teams in the Mountain West in the top 70 of the net. So Fresno State sits at 67. Just to remind you, Colorado State lost at UNLV earlier tonight. Wyoming survived a scare at home against Air Force, and Boise State fought off Utah State in what was a tight game until the last 2 minutes.
Did anybody think Wyoming would have a top 40 net going into this season? Coach Linder needs to be in the National Coach of the Year conversation. The Mountain West is loaded this season, and one of the reasons why it's loaded is because those teams, Colorado State, Wyoming, Boise, and San Diego State, they took advantage of non-conference opportunities. If they didn't, this conference would be cannibalizing itself in conference play. But because there were so many quad 1 wins between those 4 teams in non-conference, you get all these quad 1 and quad 2 opportunities that don't necessarily, if you drop one, it doesn't hurt you as much.
And of course, Justin Hudson knows this is a quad 1 opportunity for Fresno State. Or I should say, could be down the road. San Diego State's just outside that quad 1 window. If they have a nice finish to their season and get back into that, then that home win against a 1-30 could appear for Fresno State. It's a fall away by Junior Ballard and a rare transition opportunity for San Diego State.
Great transition defense by the Bulldogs. That was fantastic communication.
Bradley whistles it over. Chad Baker-Mazara. Butler bumped.
Yeah.
It's a foul on Isaiah Hill.
Should have watched this transition defense. It looked like initially, first you see great defense by Bradley, one-on-one. Watch, you see him point. You see Isaiah Hill point and talk, and then two go to the ball to stop, but two don't stay with the basketball. They go to match up again. That was clinic-worthy transition defense by the Bulldogs.
And both coaches told us today, hey, we do want to get out and run if the opportunity arises, because they know that, you know, a slugfest in the half court, especially against conference rivals this late in the season, is not easy.
I'm just excited. You and I are talking excitedly about transition defense right now, Rich. This is great. Oh, my.
Sweet bucket there. Chad Baker-Mazzara. He can score. He adds a little something off the bench. The transfer from Duquesne. This is Stroud against Bradley. Stroud launches a three. Stroud has not played a whole lot the last 2 weeks. Johnson, Seiko, Bradley, Diabate.
Nice reject.
As well.
Love that reject.
Now, go to your glossary and explain reject.
Yeah, instead of coming off the ball screen, a guard will reject the screen and drive it away from the screen. And defenses usually aren't prepared for that type of extra help defense.
The lob and the dunk. Pulliam to Johnson.
Pulliam is so smart, isn't he? He's just got great vision. When he's pushing in the full court, his eyes are up, always looking to make a play. Little pressure here from the Aztecs.
6-0 run for
Better get it across. 10 seconds. Yep.
He did not. Fresno State made a push, built a nice lead. San Diego State on a 6-0 run.
How about a little offense from the Aztecs in transition? Little alley-oop, we'll take it. Down one.
San Diego State with a run, down by one, 7:56 left in this first half. Our Reese's player profile. Good to have Junior Ballard back. And back to almost full strength at Fresno State. This is a guy that had to come back from a pretty serious leg injury.
And he was great in the last game versus UNLV with 14, but he was 3 of 7 from 3. And they need Ballard to knock down three-point shots. It takes so much pressure off this offense. In particular, it takes pressure off Orlando Robinson and Isaiah Hill to get buckets. That changes everything when Ballard's knocking down shots.
Yeah, the supporting casts, I think, are something to keep an eye on tonight. We know that Bradley in conference play is close to 20 a game. His last 5 games, he's averaging 23 a game. And Robinson on the season, 18.5 a game. So can guys like Jordan Campbell, Isaiah Hill, Anthony Holland chip in for Fresno State? Can you get points from Trey Pulliam, Keshad Johnson?
But defensively too, Rich, San Diego State is much deeper, so they're going to throw a lot of bodies at Orlando Robinson.
Lob, Diabate the catch. Remember, Mensah's been out. Nobody hit the rim, and so the clock expires.
I know it's not exciting to talk about, but both these teams do such a phenomenal job of walling up and contesting shots without fouling. Watch this wall up by 2 defenders. That's just great, disciplined basketball.
Who else would you add to your all wall up team across the country?
Villanova is one of the best wall up defensive teams in the country.
I smell a promotion there. This is Harding off the bench. He rarely plays, but he got a nice drive down the lane, just missed the layup, and Robinson goes to work on Diabate, spins into the double. Good ball movement, rotate. That's Holland, and he misses the 3.
I think you and I both agree, probably the best possession for Fresno State, even though that was a missed shot. That's a good possession.
Baker-Mazzara, he can heat up. 33% from 3.
He was 3rd in the Atlantic 10 in three-point field goal percentage at Duquesne last season. You're right, he can light it up if you give him space.
And I think Harding is playing exactly for what Justin Hudson told us. He doesn't have a lot of depth at the point guard spot, and he needs to give Isaiah Hill some rest, and that's an offensive foul on Jordan Campbell. Third team foul, his first personal.
This is Campbell. excuse me, that's Bradley making a fantastic defensive play. And Bradley is still learning how to play defense in this Coach Dutcher system. That type of play gets Brian Dutcher more excited than if he rips a three from deep.
Look, you can't even practice. Whoa! Keyshawn Johnson, Pulliam again. This time from long distance with the lob.
Had to run something to get the offense going. That was a great lob.
And again, just like the Utah State game, San Diego State finding points in the paint. Robinson trying to get going. He's doubled every time he touches it. Screen for Campbell, floats it up. Bodies everywhere. Campbell again. That's great. Second effort. Back to a 2-point lead for San Diego State. Then Harding fouls Pulliam right at midcourt. Fourth team foul.
Check out Diabate right here. He's about to set this screen for the lob. He gets a great one screen, then a double screen. Man, that was great set design offense by Coach Dutcher.
Diabate, the transfer from Portland. Bradley, deep three, long rebound. Pulliam has it. Fresh clock, man open. Baker Mazzara, yes.
How smart is Pulliam? He knows he could have taken a contested shot at the free throw line. Kick it to your shooter. That's what QBs do. Make the right read.
San Diego State's biggest lead was 7. They're up 5 here. Robinson, no double this time. And he's fouled Diabate. And he's headed to the line.
And here's Trey Pulliam. He had an opportunity to shoot a contested jumper, but he knows my guy just hit a three a few possessions ago. I need to find him when he's open. Again, that's Baker Mazzara. That's a shooter. You know, we talk about Bradley, we talk about Pulliam, Mensa's defensive ability, but I think you and I both feel Baker Mazzara be that X factor for San Diego State on the offensive end when he's knocking down threes.
Yeah, look, for either of these teams, when they do hit threes, it changes the whole offense. It makes everything look better. And as a three-point shooter, as a college player, you should be proud of that.
Well, thank you, Rich, but as a decent three-point shooter, I just wanted to shoot good threes so I didn't have to play transition defense. Right, I want to make shots so I can take my time and go. But that's the reality. When you're making threes, you're able to get back in defensive position and transition better and eliminate those extra run-out opportunities.
Tomajic is back in for San Diego State. Diabate's out with 2 fouls. He and Mensa now on the bench. Keyshawn Johnson. Baker Mazzara has another 3, and he hits it.
Uh-oh.
He's got 3 of them. And this is the biggest lead of the night for San Diego State.
And threw one of the most aggressive fist pumps I have seen all season after that 3. My man is fired up.
Fresno State needs an answer here. Robinson and Bradley tied up. Held ball. It stays with Fresno State. This is a 17-2 run right now, over 5 minutes for San Diego State.
It comes off a little bit of a screen. If you don't get up into Baker Mazzara, he will rip it. Almost 40% from 3 at Duquesne last season. Can get hot.
Now the Bulldogs looking for some offense. Shot clock's down. Hill beats the clock. Robinson got ridden out of there. That's the 5th foul already on an Aztec big against Robinson.
We are going to see that throughout the course of the game. Coach Dutcher knows that he has the deep roster to make Robinson uncomfortable. The thing that you have to be careful about is tries to just get underneath Robinson there and he draws the foul. You have to be careful about Robinson's a really good free throw shooter. So you don't want to foul him in the act of shooting.
18-footer. And he gets the roll.
Okay. You and I might be able to hit 4 or 5 threes in the Save Mart Center. These rims are soft, Rich. They are soft.
much like us.
Yes, I agree.
Bradley off the screen. Baker Mazzara looking and hunting threes. 1 out of 2 from 18 feet.
I'd be shaking my head too. He's hot right now.
And a 25-17 lead for San Diego State. Hill, foul, Pulliam, the reach. Chad, Baker, Mazzara has dropped 3 from distance. This from 2. You're watching March to March, presented by Principal Financial Group. 8-point lead for San Diego State on the road in the Mountain West. Jeep brings you AP Top 10. Lots of basketball to watch today, Mike O'Donnell.
We should be careful tomorrow with Purdue. When they play Rutgers, Purdue, potential Elite 8 team. Rutgers just beat number 12 Illinois, number 14 Wisconsin, number 16 Ohio State, number 13 Michigan State. That's a trap game for Purdue.
And I know you and I were texting each other when CBS had the March Madness men's bracket preview show. Not a whole lot of argument at the number 1 line, but what else did you see?
Could you imagine this East bracket potential of Kansas, Kentucky, and Villanova in the same bracket? That would be awesome. It's going to be another loaded March Madness. We know that. Gonzaga, for me, the number 1 overall seed, we saw that. I expect that to continue. Now, Auburn losing to Florida, I still think that they're going to end up being a number 1 seed, but I don't think they're going to be the second number 1 seed. They may drop to that 4th spot.
And tonight we've been talking about mirror images of Fresno State and San Diego State in their defense. Arizona and Gonzaga are almost identical in what they run on both sides of the ball. Obviously, Tommy Lloyd, longtime assistant to Mark Few.
They have such a unique combination. We're talking Arizona and Gonzaga between freedom and discipline on offense. It makes it beautiful to watch.
Corner 3 from Jordan Campbell. And right now, Fresno State just can't shoot. It's a 19-4 run right now for San Diego State. 7 of 20 are the Bulldogs, and they're just 1 of 8 from distance. Tomajic loads up, and he bangs one home, and he can do that. The transfer from Maryland is a stretch 4, and that was a stretch.
It took the Aztecs a little while, but they're starting to see a little bit of rhythm from the Aztecs. In the last 2 games, they've shot over 50% from the field, so their offense starting to get a little muster late in the conference season.
Orlando Robinson, 3 of 5 from the field, but he's been
right back in. Should have went right back in.
He's been hounded and pounded. Viola, left-hand hook. That's a nice touch. The freshman out of San Mateo. They like him. They think he's got a nice high ceiling.
He's been a traveler. He was at Kentucky, Arizona, ended up at Fresno. That was a big-time touch around the rim.
Butler. This is Bradley. He can operate in the low blocks. Double comes for him. Oh, good find with Johnson. Blocked there by Robinson. Hill. Stroud. And he's fouled at the rim. Baker Mazzara got him, and the Bulldogs get out in transition.
You know, that dunk looked like Stroud jumped a little too far out. It kind of looked like he got caught in no man's land. This is a monster block by Robinson, who stated at the beginning of the season he wants to be Defensive Player of the Year in the Mountain West. Stroud almost completes that vicious dunk attempt.
Misses the free throw. AT&T at the half. We want to hear what Brent Stover, Chris Walker, Shelvin Mack, and Seth Davis have to say about the Mountain West tonight and about the bracket preview. The 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and the 4 seeds revealed today. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half, and I'm sure great highlights from around the country. This is kind of your dessert tonight in the Mountain West. You got San Diego State, who Jerry Palm has in the NCAA tournament, and you got Fresno State, who has a good net, had a better net until they lost 3 straight, 2 tight ones against Wyoming and against UNLV. And they lost by 15 to Colorado State, so 3 straight losses.
I can't even imagine how crazy the Mountain West Conference tournament is going to be this season. You're looking at a team like Utah State, who could be the 8th seed. You're kidding yourself if you don't think that kind of offense can't go on a run in the conference tournament.
And two dangerous teams in the state of Nevada, as UNLV showed today, beating decisively Colorado State. And of course, Nevada, Grant Sherfield's back. Desmond Cambridge is hot. They are dangerous. That's a nice touch. He hit a three, and now Tomajic from inside the lane drops one in.
Yeah, there's not a team that wants to face Nevada in the first round of the tournament and have to scout against Grant Sherfield potentially for a third time.
San Diego State shooting the ball better. 8 of 21, or excuse me, 13 of 24. That ball's tied up. Bradley. It feels like Bradley gets just as excited for his defense as he does for his offense.
And that's what gets Coach Dutcher excited. The offense starting to click for San Diego State. And here's the defense. Watch Bradley get a little lackadaisical with the basketball by Lamont Butler.
Aztecs take a timeout. Final minutes, first half, and a 10-point San Diego State lead. In Fresno tonight, San Diego State has a 10-point lead as we enter the final minute of this first half. That guy has been a difference maker. Chad Baker-Mazzara, 3 threes, 13 points. And, you know, if you want, there's plenty of time here. You get a 2-for-1. Bradley off the screen. He had two men trailing him around the screen.
They tried to go for 2-for-1, but Fresno State guarded it really well.
That shot altered. And now the Bulldogs up the floor. Isaiah Hill has yet to engage. He's got just 3 points.
Right on cue, Rich. This is where Isaiah Hill needs to be the guy to make a play, and that's a good look. Oh, you have to catch that. You have to catch that.
Robert Viola on the roll after the pick.
This is great screen and roll action, and Hill with the look away. He confused Viola with his eyes. Oh, you got to catch that. Of course, I'm a guard, so I always assume it's the big guy's fault.
It's all right. Artistic license.
There you go.
Under 10, Pulliam driving. Pulliam floater, and it won't go. Rebound. Holland, a heave, and he missed it. San Diego State with a terrific run to claim the lead, and they head in at the half with a 10-point lead. We're headed to New York. Brent Stover and company for AT&T at the half, right after these messages. You're watching March to March, presented by Principal Financial Group. Final game of the night on a busy and fun day in the Mountain West. San Diego State has a 10-point lead over Fresno State. Rich Waltz along with Mike O'Donnell. All right, we were wondering where the offense was going to come from because we knew both teams are really good defensively. San Diego State had a nice run, a 17-2 run to get this lead.
Yeah, it was San Diego State really in that last 10 minutes of the first half. Put it on. Baker-Mazzara got hot. The bench was really good. 20 bench points for San Diego State. Their defense is stout. You hold Fresno State to 20? Wow, looks good.
All right, our game summary brought to you by AT&T 5G. The bench points obviously jump right out.
No question. You're just not going to win many games unless you make shots. You can't go 8 for 21 from the field. Only 38% from the field. And it was off the bench. Chad Baker-Mazzara was lighting it up for San Diego State in the first half. 13 points, only missed 1 shot, and he hit 3 threes. This is a kid who was 3rd best in the Atlantic 10 in three-point shooting percentage. Absolutely lighting it up in the first half off the bench. I'd fist bump too after that jumper.
But that obviously begs the question now for Justin Hudson. You're down against one of the excellent defensive teams in the country. How do you generate offense? How do you get Orlando Robinson going? He took just 5 shots in that first half.
In 18 minutes. He needs to be shooting at least 10 shots a half, especially if guys like Hill are not going to get going. Hill, Holland, those guys have to find ways for more rhythm jumpers.
Robinson gets a 3, though it was contested. Mensa's back in. He didn't play much at all in the first half. The big for San Diego State. He had 2 fouls in the first 3.5 minutes of the ball game.
And what's really scary is Bradley, one of the best scorers in the Mountain West, only had 2 points in the first half. You're up 10.
Mensah says, I'll take the 3. And I would advise not to take another one.
You know, there's rhythm and reason in why you're open. Rhythm is how your offense gets you open, and reason is why you're open. Sometimes the defense, that's the reason why you're open. They want you open.
That was only the 4th that he had attempted all year. Robinson now 3 of 6 from the field. Calamario going, oh, Mensah! And Johnson. Calamario has to pick himself off the floor. I think it was Mensah that got the majority of the ball. Yeah,
the two-handed volleyball block at the net.
Side out, San Diego State. Robinson, offensive rebound. He's doubled, gets out of it. And that last touch, Keyshawn Johnson, will be a Fresno State ball. Nathan Mensah is #1 in the conference in blocks per game, and he's shown you why already in this game.
The Mountain West all-defensive team last season. I would have to assume he's probably going to get that again.
To travel, Jordan Campbell saw the defense closing in on his target and dragged that foot.
This is where a player like Isaiah Hill needs to say, okay, hey guys, we're good. I got you. Let's run some offense, get a little ball screen continuity, see if we can find something at the rim.
Bradley. Credit Fresno State for doing a nice job on Bradley in this ball game. He's doubled, has to kick out of it. Bradley has just 2 points. He's 1 of 5. That's Pulliam with the miss. It's off of Mensah. Fresno State basketball.
Terrific defense by Isaiah Hill, locking up Pullman and then be able to close out on that jump shot after getting bumped back. Big time.
You know, there's other options offensively. You mentioned Isaiah Hill. Anthony Holland's a 43% three-point shooter. He's averaging close to 10 a game. We've got some guys off the bench that can score as well. Ballard can score. Robinson smothered, falling away, and he missed it. Bradley has the rebound.
You mentioned it, Rich. You can't have your role players go quiet for huge chunks at a time. You can't. You can't afford that. You're not a great three-point shooting team, but that's fine. You don't have to be all-world from 3. You've got a potential, like, all-American type talent in Orlando Robinson. You can't shy away from taking open looks and still being aggressive if you're guys like, if you're like Anthony Holland, if you're Isaiah Hill, if you're Jordan Campbell. You got to make a play.
Bradley. It feels like both defenses have taken away the other's best scorer. Bradley for San Diego State, Robinson for Fresno State. This is Bradley, and he misses the jumper. Hill into the lane. That's as up-tempo as we've seen Fresno State, and he coughs it up, and Bradley against Robinson. Lost the ball, out of bounds, and it stays with San Diego State. Crowd doesn't like it.
Bradley was really upset after that possession. I'm not exactly sure why. This is just too much by Hill. You can't get cute with the basketball against a top 5 defense in the country. I think Bradley may have been really upset he didn't get a foul call.
He may be upset that no one has scored a bucket yet for either side. This is a rare break. This is Calamario. Finds Campbell, and they get a transition bucket.
Calamario with the no-look dish in transition. Man, that's tough.
And yes, we have a bucket in this half.
Got him again.
Calamario. Pulliam races down, strips him of the ball. Johnson up the floor. Have numbers if they want them. Johnson driving. Kick, rotate, Pulliam 3. That's nice.
I'm going to one-up you here. That's gorgeous. That is gorgeous offense by San Diego State. The ball hit the paint twice on that possession. Really made Bulldogs work.
Holland. That would really help. Anthony Holland with a 3, and the lead is 8.
Holland is vital to the Bulldogs' success. He's their best three-point shooter.
He's got 7 in the ball game. Mensah, a little two-man game with Pulliam. Keshad Johnson. Oh, straight on. Keshad, 1 for 21 from distance, and he buries it.
We got a little rhythm here.
2 for 22.
We got a little offensive rhythm. This is nice.
Now Robinson, that would be an offensive foul. And it feels like Robinson and probably a few other Bulldogs are just plain frustrated right now.
No question about it. It's frustration for Fresno State, because when you got the big fella knocking down threes at this point in the game, and then the charge, look at Mensah, potential defensive player of the year in the Mountain West, getting it done against Robinson.
There's some urgency right now with these Fresno State fans. They need their Bulldogs to get some wins. They've dropped 3 straight, and they're down to San Diego State. And we've got San Diego State at Boise State. That's going to be a huge game. And they expect a very, very loud and large crowd in Boise for that game. We've got it on CBS Sports Network. And, of course, what's at stake here? San Diego State right now is 42 in the nets. Winning this game will help them, you would think. Boise State held serve on their home court in a tight game against Utah State. They won it today. Colorado State, though, in the 2 spot in the net in the conference, well, they're going to drop some because they were skunked in Las Vegas against UNLV.
Totally unexpected at UNLV, and Bryce Hamilton was really good, but the defense looked unbelievable, completely stifled one of the best offenses in the country for the Rams. That was an impressive showing.
And to finish that quartet, Wyoming won today, but it wasn't easy. Joe Scott and Air Force gave him a real test in Laramie.
Is there an easy game in the Mountain West, though? There isn't this season. Every single time you line up, I don't care if you're playing Nevada or Utah State, no easy outs in the Mountain West.
Out of the timeout, Fresno State needs some stops, needs some buckets. He's back. Chad Baker-Mazara, 16 in the ball game.
If I'm the point guard for San Diego State, I am running action for him every single time down the floor. Got to feed the hot hand.
4 for 5 from distance, 16 points. That's a season high. And he is just off his career high, which he had with Duquesne last year. No answer on that 3 from Anthony Holland. San Diego State, their largest lead has been 14. Keshad Johnson, Mensah's open, and Mensah hammers it home with a free throw coming.
I want you to watch Holland right at the bottom of your screen there, way too far out. Overhelped. Made him pay. Baker-Mazara as knocking down 3 after 3, and then Mensah doesn't score a lot, only 7 points on the season, his average.
That's the first free throw of the game for San Diego State. And importantly, they're doing damage offensively with Bradley not on the floor.
It's a sign of a really good team. When your best scorer is limited, maybe having an off night, that's fine. You've got other guys able to step up, in particular your bench, your wings, getting out in transition. But have you noticed Bradley, even though he's not scoring, a lack of defensive intensity? No. And that's what Coach Dutcher loves about his team and his best player in Bradley.
Robinson got through the double, muscles it up, volleyball for it. And Johnson, Robinson, it's Johnson who comes away with it. Adam Seiko in transition with Pulliam. Mensah begging for the ball. Against Viola. Mensah. Wow, turnaround, jumper. 14 feet. That's slick.
Turning away from your weak hand along the baseline. Low percentage shot for me, high percentage shot for Nathan Mensah. Stay with us. I got to tell you, San Diego State looks really good.
(43-25). Brian Dutcher in the middle of the Aztecs. Matt Bradley has just 2 points. And right now, San Diego State couldn't be bothered by that. They are pounding, and Bradley is doing it defensively.
Coach Dutcher talked about how he's such an important part of our team, and everybody's going to talk about the offense, but he's getting better and better defensively. He's either going to wall up, he plays hard without fouling, he's got great active hands, has 2 steals tonight, and you see he's big, physical, and aggressive. When he's locked in defensively, he becomes a totally complete player. It's something that he didn't do at Cal. It's not that he was a bad defender at Cal. It's just that the effort on the defensive end at San Diego State, it has to be different. It has to be more intense.
And our gang in New York during halftime, they were right on the money when they said, hey, San Diego State is up 10 and Matt Bradley has 2 points. That's not good news for Fresno State.
No, not at all.
There's your dominant defense, and there's tonight. The number's even better tonight. Robinson against Mensah. You saw the double. Stroud passes away from a 3, and that's the problem. The double comes. Fresno State has been unable to take advantage of open 3s like that. Hill hits it, and that's a good sign. And the Bulldogs need a lot more of that.
He's one of the guys that can do it. Over 35% from 3. Catch and shoot. See, he's got a smooth release. Robinson's a good passer. He's a capable passer. Look, you have to step up with confidence and knock shots down when he finds you.
Yeah, a capable passer becomes a great passer when his teammates hit shots.
The amount of virtual assists he's had tonight. He's got at least 5 or 6.
Is that a stat that's tracked somewhere like Ken Palm?
Actually, coaches chart those a lot.
Really? Virtual assists?
Great passes that lead to open looks that aren't made. And you have to understand that as a coach. And you have to chart that in practice. A lot of coaches even chart it in games, say, look, we're getting good offense, we're getting good looks. I'm not going to take you out for missing shots if we're running good offense.
Give me an estimate of the number of virtual assists that you had at UCF.
Oh, way too many. We're talking thousands. Thousands of virtual assists.
I suspected that. Chad Baker-Mazara is having his best night as an Aztec in terms of scoring. He's at 17 points. And my guess is that for Fresno State, who's such a great defensive team, Baker-Mazara was way down on the scouting report.
But if you're looking at the overall theme of this game and you're saying, what does Fresno State have to do? Okay, they have to make shots, right? The obvious take. But what you can't do is you can't just sit in a simple, slow, methodical game with San Diego State, because that's what they want to do. You've got to find ways to get out and run a little bit in transition and open this thing up.
Robinson misses there. Back with the basketball is San Diego State. Orlando Robinson in this ballgame is 3 for 9, 5 rebounds, 7 points. Pulliam got a step on the baseline, can't finish, and it goes to Fresno State. In the Mountain West tonight, San Diego State is hot, and they are staying that way. 45-28. This is March to March, presented by Principal Financial Group. Mountain West, San Diego State with a statement right now, 45-28 lead. Tomorrow, noon Eastern, we've got women's college basketball in a doubleheader. UMass and Davidson, and then Georgetown at number 10, UConn in the Big East. That's tomorrow. It starts at 12 Eastern. And this is what's known as a follow. How about the Big East women's standings? UConn is number 10 and right now sits at 12-1. Creighton's had a really nice year at 14-4. DePaul as well. And Villanova and Marquette also double-digit wins.
How tough the Big East standings is. Marquette's 18-8, but right in the middle of the Big East.
Matt Bradley's back in, just 2 points, 1 of 7, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers, couple steals, and no worries, right? San Diego State 45-28 on top. Robinson going to work. Now attacking from the top of the lane. Into the low blocks. Mensah got a hand on it. Knocks it away to Seiko.
That's the third time he's done that this game. Is getting a hand into not the passing lane, the dribbling lane of Orlando Robinson. Being really active on the ball in the post, which is hard to do without fouling.
5 steals for San Diego State. 11 turnovers for Fresno State. Pulliam whips it to Seiko. Bradley was waiting in the corner. Seiko's lob. And he was pushed.
And you don't see that from Seiko very often. Him turning down a three, putting it on the deck, trying to get into the paint. He's more of a catch-and-shoot shooter.
He is a very valuable player. He doesn't score a whole lot, 5 points a game. Really good three-point shooter, lockdown defender.
He's the definition of a 3-and-D type player.
Yes. Of course, his brother, I just saw him on Thursday night, Arthur Kaluma for Creighton. He didn't play, he's hurt, but he's having a great freshman year. And I asked his brother about Adam. And I said, hey, you know, your brother hit some big threes the other night against Utah State. He said, yeah, man, he can shoot. It's great to see. And he looked at me and says, but tell him he still can't guard me.
As all brothers should have, right? Exactly.
And I said, oh, well, I don't know about that. I mean, you can't play guard at San Diego State if you can't guard. So I'd like to see that in the backyard, those two going at it. That's a three, a contested three, and it turns into a foul. And it should end up with 3 free throws for Dion Stroud.
It's a cardinal sin of basketball.
Oh,
Don't foul a jump shooter. Yeah, that'll be a 2, about 3 feet inside the three-point line.
He landed outside the three-point line, so it's not where you land, it's where you're fouled. 45-28. Stroud's a guy that hasn't been in the rotation of late. Had some good minutes in the first half, and some nice moments as well.
And so how do you make the game longer? How do you extend the game when you're not shooting the ball well? You're down a big lead. You can do it this way.
You know, I asked Justin Hudson today at shoot-around, I said, will you press? Because he expected San Diego State to press, because San Diego State has done that of late. And Hudson said, I'd like to, but I'm not real deep. And, you know, we're already asking Isaiah Hill to play extended minutes. If we full court press, I could burn right through my rotation. But he may have no choice. He may have no choice here coming to the 10-minute mark with a sizable lead by San Diego State.
Well, you have kind of a cat and mouse game to play from a number standpoint. You can cut it to 10 in about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, maybe you don't have to press, but if you're under 10 minutes and you're 15, 16 points down, it's time to start thinking about that full court press.
Well, I mean, down 15 to San Diego State against a lot of other teams is like 25.
No question. No question. Because they slow the pace down, you can't get any easy looks, especially you can't get anything from 3.
Butler, offensive foul. He elevated and came down on top of Anthony Holland. That's a positive play by Holland and Fresno State. Maybe it's something to build on.
But it's no time to celebrate if you're the Bulldogs. Gets above the restricted circle, takes it in the chest. Can you capitalize? This is Isaiah Hill time. This is leadership time. Run your offense. Get your best shooters and playmakers in position in order to get a bucket.
Campbell with Bradley on him.
Bradley's such a good on-ball defender. We don't talk about it enough nationally. He's lock-up defender.
Robinson, he's had a variety of guys guarding him and lots of double teams. Campbell missed the 3, and that's a problem for Fresno State. 3 of 14 from distance. Under 10 minutes and a 15-point Aztec lead. That's Hill. He's fouled by Butler. Who's the best on-ball defender for San Diego State? That's a really hard choice. Yeah. Is it Seiko? Is it Pulliam? Is it Butler? You noted that Bradley's on-ball defense is really good.
Well, you can, in a lot of circumstances, you can say Mensah is the best on-ball defender in one-on-one in the post with Robinson.
That's true.
How many deflections has he gotten in the post on Robinson tonight?
Stroud feeds the post. That's Robinson. He's bumped. That's a good lefty pass. Hill, step back three. Yes! Yes! Fresno State. That's what you want. Your big man passing out of the double, and your scoring guard / point guard draining a three.
Plenty of time on the clock, Richard. You and I have watched plenty of college hoops. 9 minutes? You can extend this. You really can. Got to manufacture a stop, though, Rich. This is where you've got to lock in, dig your heels in. Nothing easy.
Clock is down. Bradley usually gets a touch around this time, and there it is. Double comes.
Good help by Hill. Really good help by Hill. Sitting in the gap.
Bradley's got a man trailing. Finds Butler for three. Beat the clock. Johnson. Oh! Key shot.
How was Bradley able to throw out of that double team? How was he able to do that?
More points in the paint. Point of emphasis for Brian Dutcher. And again, he's got to be pleased with how that's going tonight. San Diego State 16 points in the paint, 25 points off their bench.
How do you see this pass? Just incredible vision, and that's what enables San Diego State to get the offensive rebound, because they put Fresno State out of position. Bradley did. Big time poke back dunk.
I would give one of your virtual assists there to Tomajic, who had great rebounding position to allow Johnson to come in.
Now, if you double the post, you have to turn, sprint, box out.
Isaiah Hill.
Okay.
And that's injects a little bit of life in this arena right now. Fresno State's starting to cut into it. Down to 11. Bradley driving. Falling away. Robinson has the rebound. Bulldogs have life. Under 8 minutes left. Tomajic on Robinson. Deion Stroud. Shot clock down. Hill has hit 2 threes. Hill missed that one. Tomajic the rebound.
Got to use the screen. You've got one of the best players in the conference, Robinson, with you. Use the screen. You've got 4 or 5 seconds to manipulate the defense. Don't take a contested three right there.
And I think Justin Hudson's getting a warning to stay in the coach's box. Or did he get a technical? We'll check on that. Clock stops, 7:14 left. Fresno State trying to get back in it, and Isaiah Hill doing it from distance. 11-point lead for San Diego State. $18-point lead is down to 11 right now for San Diego State. This is worth a watch, presented by Principal Financial Group. And we're talking defense.
And the analytics are on the money for San Diego State tonight. They have the second best three-point field goal percentage defense in the country. They hold teams to 29% from three. Guess what Fresno State is shooting from three tonight? 29%. They hold teams to 38% from the field. Fresno State's at 36. The half-court defense for the Aztecs has been stellar.
And when you mix these numbers on the right with 18 points from Chad Baker-Mazara, 11 from Keyshawn Johnson, you don't need points from Matt Bradley. He's got just 2 points in this game. He's 1 of 8.
I will say this about San Diego State and their defense and their being an at-large bid team. If they're not shooting the ball well, defense travels. You may not shoot the ball well on the road, but your defense always travels with you, whether it's neutral site, on the road, or at home.
Little zone look from Fresno State.
2-3 matchup zone.
Seiko. Adam Seiko beats the buzzer. And the lead is stretched back to 14. Boy, he hits some threes at just the right time for this ball club. He's at 50% his last 13 games from distance. Robinson spun right into Bradley. Kicks out. Stroud's a clean three, and he missed it. Robinson is doing all he can, and he can't do it alone. And you can see the frustration on his face.
You can't check your watch against Seiko because you're going to see him running the baseline here underneath the defense. Shooters love to go underneath the defense against his own. And how quick is that release?
I see what you did there.
I feel like I don't get enough credit for the Seiko watch comment.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't get enough credit for that.
We need sound effects. We need, you know,
It's literally the smartest thing I've said in 3 months.
Drum flourish or something to add to it. But you could just sense Robinson has just been pounded and hounded, doubled.
Well, they've mixed it up. We talked to, you know, we kind of showed you the O'Donnell rules, and they're in the gaps and they're playing physical, but they've changed up when they're doubling and how they're doubling. Sometimes it comes from the baseline, sometimes it comes from ball side, and it's hard to figure out. Could have a charge here.
It's a block. Pulliam's going to get free throws.
They're moving a little bit too much. He got in front, but moving a little bit too much.
Anthony Holland trying to draw that charge.
Yeah, Holland did a good job of sprinting back, but comes underneath Pulliam. Excuse me, Pulliam.
Pulliam walking it off right now. He's the guy that's made the biggest leap. You know, look, the Aztecs have had just some great players that they've had in the last 4 or 5 years. NBA type guys. Jordan Shackle, Matt Mitchell, and Terrell Gomez from last year. Malachi Flynn, of course, a few years back. Jalen McDaniels. And they don't have a lot of those electric scoring guys left except for Bradley right now. So it's got to be a group effort.
But his steadiness has been terrific his entire career. When you're a coach and you put a point guard in, or you say, hey, I'm going to give you the ball. Here's the keys to my kingdom on offense here. For Trey Pulliam, he's got a career 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. So as a point guard, you're either a liability or you're reliable.
And he's much better than that tonight. 7 assists, 1 turnover. So you're all over it. Back to a 16-point ball game. Robinson fouled. Mensah has done a nice job of not picking up fouls. Remember, he had 2 in the first 3.5 minutes. And that was all he played in the first half, and that's his 3rd right there.
It's a good job of Fresno State of swinging around. They ran a little bit of false action. They spread it out, 4 out, 1 in, and they got Robinson in an ISO. One of the few times, really, that Robinson's had room to somewhat operate without a double team tonight.
If you've watched a lot of Mountain West basketball, you know that that's something that Wyoming does really well.
Oh, man.
Is find creative and effective entries into EK or even Maldonado in the post.
It's one of the most dangerous combos in the country. Not just the Mountain West, but the country when you're talking Maldonado and EK. They run that 4 out, 1 in offense, and you're worried about 3-point shooting. It's a little bit different offense than what you're used to seeing nationally. They don't mind going inside. Wyoming they're going to win games in third.
Robinson breaks it up. Fresno State forces a turnover. Down 14.
Got a little bit of breathing room here. A little ISO.
Against Mensah.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh.
Johnson came to help. He may have blocked the shot. Mensah ended up coming down with it. They were both up there.
How great is Mensah in the post one-on-one? Just his IQ defensively in one-on-one ISO situations is off the charts.
Pulliam floating and hitting on the run. And a 54-38 San Diego State lead. And now Pulliam has 9 points to go with 7 assists. He's sniffing a double-double. Needs 3 more assists and just 1 more point.
He's been really good defending Isaiah Hill as well.
Bradley got knocked out of bounds on a moving screen.
Check out this defense for Mensah, who very well could end up being Player of the Year in the Mountain West. Watch him wall up. Do you see him move his feet without bringing his hands down? Over half of the post players in the country, when they move their feet, they bring their hands down because they're not disciplined enough. Mensah is the epitome of discipline on defense in the post. It is a joy to watch. And I would know as a 5'10" point guard about post defense.
And before the game, they're checking to see if this is a flagrant foul. And if Viola was on that screen, if he went above and beyond the normal screening action. Here's a look. I don't know. Is that flagrant?
I think it's
not very nice.
Too common to me. Yeah. There's a little bit of extra, but it's not enough to warrant a flagrant one.
But enough for a foul. I was able tonight to chat with Mark Fisher, one of the assistant coaches for San Diego State. I asked him about offense and how do you go against a defense that is exactly the same that you run and have success. And one of the things he talks about, the middle ball screens and swinging the ball from side to side. They've done a really nice job of that.
They've also done a nice job swinging it after dribble penetration on a kick out.
There's a kick out. Johnson. Late shot clock. Pulliam launches. Holland with the rebound. Not a lot more time on the clock for Fresno State. They got to get busy and they got to get going now. Bradley with the foul on Hill. And that's going to put Fresno State at the line. And maybe that's an opportunity for Fresno State because they're a really good free throw shooting team. Though tonight they are 7 of 12 from the line.
Well, good free throw shooting teams, when you can get to the line when you're trying to come back, it's not just about putting points on the board. The opportunity to set up a full court press, it also acts as mini timeouts for your coaching staff as well.
Hill hits a free throw. Hill, the junior, the transfer from Tulsa, played for Frank Haith in his second year, a Bakersfield guy, just like his head coach, Justin Hudson, who was part of 2 Division II national championships at Cal State Bakersfield, the Roadrunners. Wouldn't you like to play for a team, a basketball team called the Roadrunners? I mean, that's like the Running Rebels, right?
I was too slow to ever be recruited by a team with their nickname as the Roadrunners, though. That's the problem.
Any team with running in their mascot or their nickname is, I think, a team that is probably at the top of Ken Palm's tempo ratings.
No question.
That's good ball movement there, and a nice dish.
That's pretty.
That's Johnson, not another. That would be asking a lot. He's now 2 of 22 on the season. Robinson, nice pick and roll. They haven't been able to get him the ball on the pick and roll, and Mensah's a big reason why.
The tag help defense for San Diego State's been too good. They can't find him. They've clogged up the lane, and the passing lane's on the roll.
14-point lead, San Diego State, 3:47 left.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by his Peanut Butter Cups.
In Fresno, the Central Valley, San Diego State impressively on the road, up 14, under 4 left in the ballgame. Coming up next, back to New York, coast to coast, big day and night in college basketball. The road to the Final Four continues inside college basketball on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Rich Welts along with Mike O'Donnell. We are in Fresno. And this is the end of our Mountain West triple header, by the way. Boise State beat Utah State. Hey, is there a better closer in this league than Marcus Shaver Jr.?
Oh, it's been so good. Absolutely tremendous. Had 20 points and 3 steals after that win versus Utah State. Wyoming, really tough game versus Air Force. You and I were talking about that earlier. EK with 27 points and UNLV running all over the Rams of Colorado State.
And that's music to the ears of San Diego State, as they obviously have Colorado State, Wyoming, and Boise State in their sights. And the beautiful thing about San Diego State is that they play all those teams, and they've got them on the menu.
Yeah, they've got Boise State on Tuesday on CBS Sports Network. That is going to be the game of the week.
They don't have Colorado State. I was remiss in that. I misspoke. They've had them already a couple times.
But they do go to Wyoming.
Yes, they do.
So that's 2 more quadrant 1 opportunities for San Diego State. This is a quadrant 1 win. If they win out, San Diego State gets another quadrant 1 win to add to their resume. That would be 3 quad 1 wins. We're looking at pretty strong at-large resume, Rich.
Now there's a qualifier on that. That's if Fresno State stays within 1 through 75. And they just need them to stay 1 through 75 until the NCAA tournament selection process.
Yeah, you can't look at these individual games in a vacuum because every game, every win, every loss across the country affects the net, not just one particular win or loss.
That's well done, Anthony Holland. And the Bulldogs hit a 3. They got a ways to go, and they only have 3:10 to get there.
Oh, you got to pressure. You got 3 minutes left. You've got to pressure. You have to. They're in zone right now.
They are daring Butler to shoot. He does, and he hits. Lamont Butler.
I think you have to get out of that zone. Got to pressure, got to press, got to deny. Got to force more action on the defensive end.
Hill driving, is fouled by Pulliam. And he goes to the line and shoots 2. Pulliam's been super in this one. We're talking about his assist to turnover ratio. 8 assists now, 2 turnovers. He has 9 points, 2 dimes and a free throw, and he's got a double-double.
He doesn't need to score 15, 16 a game. He doesn't. There's enough firepower on the offensive end for when Pulliam doesn't have to drop that, 15, 16 a game. He could be around 9 or 10, that's fine. If he's getting 6, 7 assists a game and 1 or 2 turnovers, I don't know, Rich. It's a dangerous, dangerous team in March.
And they're getting hot at the right time. And remember, they had two real big gaps in their schedule in the Mountain West. There's some pressure in the half court.
Well, think about the performance tonight defensively and offensively. Matt Bradley, one of the best scorers and unique scorers in the Mountain West. He's only got 2 points tonight.
It's 1 of 8 from the field. Fresno State races up the floor. Junior Ballard. Hill. Robinson pops. Turns down the 3. Mensah, his escort down the lane. And Mensah gets the foul. It's his 4th. It stops the clock. 59-44. San Diego State on top.
Mensah said, "Oh, come on," right after that foul call. That was too much reaching in. He'd done a really nice job throughout the course of the game on Robinson on getting deflections and steals one-on-one the post. He's got a little bit too greedy.
All right, man. 1-and-1, straight in.
Is there anything better than a player fouling and then looking at the refs and saying, "Oh, come on"?
No. Bradley cleans up the miss. And Robinson's 9 points. Struggled from the line, 3 of 7. He is a good free throw shooter at 76%. If they can give him some help, if they can get scoring from somewhere else just to take the pressure off of him, they can get back to where they were to start the Mountain West. Johnson, more points in the paint for San Diego State. They have 20 in this ballgame. Hill open for 3. Bradley the rebound. $1:20 left, and San Diego State is going to win their 5th straight, go to 9-3 and 17-6.
It has been an incredibly impressive defensive performance by the Aztecs, holding Fresno State to 35% from the field and 30% from 3. They were absolutely locked in defensively. Shut down Orlando Robinson, who only had 9 points tonight. And they did it all with Matt Bradley only scoring 2 points. Rich, that's a sign of a team that knows how to win when your best player has an off night on the offensive end of the floor.
And that's one of the scary things about San Diego State. They are trending upwards offensively. Blocked by Johnson. And their offensive numbers have gotten better and better in the course of this 5-game win streak.
Last 2 games, they've shot over 50% from the field. Now, they haven't shot over 50% in this game, but close, 48%. They were still pretty efficient tonight. Even, you know, you have to, a little bit of caveat there with Bradley not shooting the ball well tonight.
San Diego State shoots 48% on any given game with their defense. They're going to win a lot of them. That lob was for Johnson. 8 seconds left. San Diego State's schedule, we touched upon it. More opportunities for Brian Dutcher, and the games come fast and furious. They have 5 left in conference. At Boise State, we've got that game on CBS Sports Network. San Jose State, Wyoming, back up to Laramie. And, of course, Fresno State again, and they finish at Nevada. Brian Dutcher, he and Justin Hudson, so very tight. San Diego State has won 5 in a row. Let's update our standings now. Yeah, Colorado State now 4th. San Diego State climbs to 3. Colorado State lost to UNLV. And don't sleep on UNLV.
Yeah.
They're 5th right now, and that's a coveted spot in the Mountain West.
And you want to talk about big shot maker Bryce Hamilton. He is tough.
61-44, the final. For Michael O'Donnell, our entire crew, I'm Rich Waltz in Fresno. This is a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Aztecs stay hot, 5 in a row. Back to Brent Stover in our New York studio.